Okay, take 2 of episode 8. Let's see if this works. Chime in if I'm still sideways. We were having some technical difficulties. I have one other idea. I'll just do it on my computer if we have to. We'll flip it around. Are we still working? We're good now? Let me know if I'm sideways or right side up before we get started, because that would be really confusing. So give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and I'm right side up. That would be awesome before we get started. Had to do some, okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I did an update on my iPad before we got started here, so I guess it was a little wonky there, but we're good to go. So hello, welcome. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to episode 8 of On Air with Allie. This is a weekly Wednesday Facebook Live session where I get in front of you guys and chat about some random things, some personal, some business-related topics. And so last week we dove in and talked about my client experience and kind of gave you a peek into that. And tonight I'm going to be talking about my gear and kind of what's in my camera bag. This looks really intense. I'm looking at this now and I'm like, okay, I think I have a problem with my collection here, but I don't take all of this with me on a session, but I'm going to kind of show you which lenses in particular I use for specific sessions and different things, so I thought it'd be fun to take a peek inside my camera bag today. For those of you, whether you're watching live, thank you for joining, or if you're watching the replay, for those of you, if I haven't met you, I am Allie. I'm a motherhood and family photographer living in Richmond, Virginia, with my husband and our 1-year-old son, Michael. I am pregnant, 20 weeks today, so halfway there, with our son, Thomas, and we're due in March. So you'll kind of, every Wednesday, I'm like a new week in my pregnancy, so you'll kind of just see this area start to grow over the Facebook Live weekly session. So thank you for joining in. Again, last week we talked about my client experience workflow. So today I'm going to feature what's in my camera bag. I'm going a little crazy. I have like all my camera bags out here that I'm going to show you. It's kind of just a little quick show and tell tonight that I thought would be fun. So I have some photographers that follow me as well. Hi, Amy. Hi, Katie. We got a couple more. So it sounds like 8 o'clock is like the time that's more convenient for you guys to tune in live. It's so much more fun when I have a live showing versus people present, so I'm not just talking to my iPad. But if you're watching the replay, still thank you for tuning in. So tonight I'm going to talk about 3 main things. My go-to camera bags. I'll talk about the camera bodies that I use, and we'll go into chatting about my go-to lenses. As I mentioned earlier, if you're just tuning in, this is quite a spread of gear. I don't obviously take all of this with me to every session, so I kind of pick and choose which specific lenses I bring depending on the session that I shoot. As I mentioned, I'm a motherhood photographer and family photographer, so the bulk of my sessions revolve around maternity, newborn, Fresh 48 sessions. I just had one today at the hospital. Newborn sessions, I don't know if I mentioned that, kind of your traditional family sessions, so kind of a variety of situations that I'm in that involve bringing specific gear. So I'm going to talk about that today. We can go, I'll start off by saying that I'm a Nikon girl. So for those of you that are Canon or, whatever, sorry, I'm going to be talking a lot about Nikon today or tonight. My first ever DSLR camera I purchased in college. When was it? Back in 2008 I got my first camera. I know it's actually a Sony Alpha A 200 DSLR camera. And in June 2013 I bought my first Nikon, and I've been a loyal Nikon shooter ever since. I've started educating myself on the foundations of film, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. When I get in, and I'll talk a little bit about the film gear that I have. But the bulk of our discussion is going to be Nikon related. So we can go ahead and get started. I will dive in and talk, let me flip my notes here, about camera bags first. My first ever camera bag, and I never use this bag anymore because it's a crazy funky color, and I don't know, I've just gone more of like the tan look. But this was my first ever bag. I've been a loyal Kelly Moore camera bag girl since the beginning. I love her bags because they don't really look like your typical camera bag, I guess. This could be like a purse or a diaper bag or something like that. They're super cute. They've got like the messenger strap and then the shoulder strap. This is the 2 Sues. They come in a variety of different colors, but at the time I was feeling raspberry, and this is what I bought a few years ago, and I haven't used this bag in years, but I just can't part with it. But anyway, it's kind of a fun color, and it really just sits on display in my office. But anyway, that was my first ever camera bag. My next one that I purchased that I used for a long time, Kelly Moore bag. I believe this is called the Libby Bag. I know, Emily, isn't that cute? It's a raspberry 2 Sues bag, so it's tons of pockets and zippers. I mean, you can throw stuff in there. I mean, again, these purses I love, or purses, camera bags I love because they could be like an everyday, like this would be a cute little weekender bag. But anyway, this has been my go-to bag for several years. I kind of went more of the caramel colored route just so it was a little more professional, a little more not as loud as far as the raspberry color goes. But what's great is it has like all these pockets for cards or business cards or whatever. Lots of different side pockets to toss keys or whatever. And on the inside, if you can see, there you go. There's slots to drop your camera and several lenses. There's a flap in the inside for iPad or computer or whatever. So this has been my go-to bag, and now I have a different bag. If you've noticed, every like 2 years I get the itch for a new bag, but it's because I'm bringing more gear with me to sessions, so I need to be able to have a bag that's going to carry it all. But I don't like it to get too heavy because then your shoulder is killing you after lugging it around all day. But anyway, this is, I believe, the Libby Kelly Moore bag. So this is the one that I now use. So you can see it's a little bit bigger, but very similar to the Libby. I think this is called the Libby 2.0. So it looks huge on the iPad now that I'm like looking at it. But this smooth leather, it smells good. I love the gold accents to it. This has the main messenger bag strap that's really nice. It's got this sleeve here that you can unzip on the bottom and slip onto like a roll-on carry-on bag at the airport. But this front zipper is amazing, so we can dig right in. So again, this is my go-to bag that I use, mainly because, and I'll show you the inside, this has a lot of room. It's empty right now because it's all here that we're going to talk about. Yeah, so we'll dive in and I'll show you what I have in this bad boy. So, Kelly Moore bag, Libby 2.0, right in the front pocket. Family and motherhood photographer, you can never have too much hand sanitizer, wipes. I mean, this literally could be my go-to diaper bag anyway. I have some pens in here in this pocket that I just used before we went live. Chapstick, lip gloss, you know, just gotta freshen up before the session. And then on this side, I keep business cards, which I'm rebranding, so I need to redo all those, and some cash, $5. Normally I keep $20 in here because gas, I mean, random things come up, like car will be on empty when I get in the car to rush to a session, and anyway, it's always good to just keep $20 on you because you never know. So that's kind of what I have on the front pockets. I don't keep anything in the side. I usually keep these empty, so when I show up for a shoot, I can throw like my sunglasses and my keys and phone or whatever on the side pockets. On the inside, as I showed you, there are a lot of different slots that I kind of fill up with all this stuff, or a majority of it. But I keep with me on this is a CF card reader, memory card reader. And so after a session, I'll immediately take the images off those memory cards and onto my computer. This little guy is called a Lens Buddy. And if you're a mom with a camera, hop on Amazon right now and get one. They're like 10 bucks. And they have built-in squeakers, so it makes kids laugh. I think I have one other one. A frog. I don't use this one as much just because with some of the lenses I use, they can flap in front of the lens and that kind of just gets in the way. But these are called Lens Buddies. There's also like camera creatures. There's other names for them, but anyway, they're great. And the kids love them. So I also keep in here, this thing is like a rocket. I don't even know what the fancy term is, but it's a blower. And it basically, when I'm switching lenses onto different cameras, I'll do this before I go on the shoot, but if I'm switching lenses during a shoot, I give a little courtesy squeeze into both the lens and the camera to get any dust or anything off of the lens, so I'm not using like my finger or something like that to smear. Hi Heather and Sarah, thanks for tuning in. What else? There's a side pocket in here to throw laptop or iPad, but I would never bring that along to a shoot because it would be too heavy. I bring in a whole pack of memory cards because you just, you know, you can get trigger happy and you need to be prepared. There is an inside pocket in here, so I keep snacks. You know, even when I'm not pregnant, I carry around a lot of snacks. And then I keep a little pouch in here. I recently filled this up, so that's probably why I decided to do this topic today. But deodorants, lip gloss, hair ties, just random stuff in here that I would need while out and on the go. So that is a peek inside my camera bag. This is the main one that I use. I do have this bad boy. This is called the Think Tank, which, sorry, my lighting just got all crazy once I brought this big camera bag in here. This is the Think Tank Airport Navigator camera bag. This thing looks so intense. It's got like wheels on it. This thing like slides out so I can, and it fits, it's like the approved size to be a carry-on. I never ever put camera gear in a checked bag to go out of my sight. So I had to have a bag that was safe, that I could bring on the plane with me, and that held a ton of stuff, because if I'm using this, I've only used it once. I got it before I went to the Fount workshop this past April, where I was flying to Atlanta, and I knew I wanted to bring a lot of gear, and I wanted it to be stored properly and safely, because this stuff is not cheap. So anyway, it's got a nice handle, and so it opens up in the top to be able to quickly grab. But then what's really cool, let me open up this thing. So this flaps open, whoop, and there goes my notepad. And all, you can hold like everything on this table I could probably fit inside this bag. And it just slides nicely. It's crazy smooth and really compact. Anyway, the Think Tank Airport Navigator. Again, I only use this bag if I'm traveling and taking all this stuff with me. Otherwise, I just have that main Kelly Moore bag that I just showed you. So that is all of my bags. I tried trimming down. I think I sold one recently, just like a standard black camera bag. I have a few different backpacks, but anyway, those are the majority of my bags. I feel like I kind of went off on a tangent there for a minute. So we can go into diving into camera bodies. I'll talk about my digital cameras first before I go into talking about film. As I mentioned earlier, I'm educating myself a little bit more on the foundations of film, so that's been really exciting. So I'll talk about that part in a little bit, but these are my two main cameras, and they look exactly the same. They're basically sister and brother to each other because this is the Nikon D610. This is my main backup camera that I bring with me on every shoot. And this is the Nikon D810. This is my primary main camera that I use for every session. And I bring this one in my bag, which is why I have such a large bag, because I have 2 camera bodies with me. I usually don't shoot with this during a session unless my primary malfunctions or something happens. I've learned the hard way in the past, where I've had to take a camera and send it back to Nikon to get fixed because it was not fixable by me, and at the time I did not have a backup camera. So, you know, we're all human. We're learning along the way as we go, but now I will never run into that issue again because I have 2. So that is always, it's very helpful to always have a backup camera because you just never know what's going to happen. Especially as a family photographer, you're moving around a lot, and so things happen. What I love about, there are many things, what I love most about the Nikon D810 mainly is peace of mind. A lot of the Nikon lenses offer the dual card system. So I have a CF card reader in here, and I also have an SD card reader, which I'll pull that out to show you. So I have the same 64 gigabyte memory card inside. So I shoot RAW and JPEG. So what it's doing is shooting raw images onto the CF card reader and making a backup JPEG version on the SD card reader. And there's been several times where you'll have memory card failure. It happens, like even just saying that gives me, like, I'm getting hot. You get anxiety just thinking about memory card failure, but it happens, and it's happened to me before, and thank goodness I had this dual card system because I was able to recover the images on the other disc, and I didn't have to reshoot the session. So that's really great. One thing to mention, these are both FX format cameras. With DSLRs, the camera format refers to the size of the image sensor, and with Nikon they make DX format and FX sensors. So the DX is just a smaller sensor, and the larger FX format sensor measures kind of approximately the same size as a 35mm film camera. So anyway, just a little knowledge for you. I mentioned the dual memory card slots, and that I shoot in RAW, but have that JPEG as a backup. Nikon did release, I don't know if you've seen on your Facebook feed, but it's flooding mine, the Nikon D850 came out and has just been blowing up with crazy awesome reviews. So it's on the bucket list. So what I would do eventually, and I'm a gear junkie, so that doesn't help, but I would eventually sell the 610 and then use the 810 as my backup and the 850 as my primary. I can talk about lenses briefly. I feel like I'm talking really fast. Are you guys following? Okay. I get excited when I start talking about gear and all of that. Before I go into lenses, I will mention I do have, as far as like extra accessories that I carry with me in my camera bag, I always keep a charger with me. I charge all my batteries before going on the shoot, but I keep a lot of batteries because I just have this fear that I'm going to show up and all my batteries are dead and I can't do the shoot. So I carry a lot with me, and I bring a charger with me just in case, because you never know. And I keep these lens hoods with me as well. I typically shoot, I've done a few sunrise shoots, but I typically shoot more towards the golden hour, roughly an hour or two before sunset. But if I'm in a situation where it's really bright and sunny, I will, hi Missy, I will throw on the one of these lens hoods to kind of help block any lens flare that would come through too strong on an image. So the last little guy that I bring along sometimes, I need to use it more often. This is called the Spider Holster. I think I'm saying that right. This is just the single. They have a dual one that's pretty cool, that like this flap is on this side too. But what you do is, and I could stand up and show you, but you flip this around your waist. All right, let's show it. This is show and tell, so let's do this. So it strips around the side, and this little thing connects to your camera, and it's like, I feel like I'm like in a Western film when I have it on, because I'm like, draw, like I just pull it out. But I use this more when I shot weddings, because then you don't have to carry your camera around with you in your hands all the time, because your hands get tired after a full day. But this little piece straps to the bottom of the camera, and it like clips onto here. So I'll bring it sometimes, particularly with mini sessions if I'm shooting all day. What else? Just drew a blank. But I talk a lot with my hands, and I like to interact with kids during sessions and stuff, so I can put my camera away and versus putting it down in the ground or putting it in my camera bag, and it's still right there with me where I can quickly grab it if a moment's happening that I want to capture. So this is the Spider Holster for any photographers watching. They have a ton of different kind of holsters out there, but that one has worked well for me. So I'll go in and chat about some of these lenses. This looks really crazy. I don't know if the lighting is, let me tap here. Maybe that'll help. Okay. So yeah, all right. I started my collection in 2013, so it's been a work in progress. I tried to pick lenses that obviously I'm going to use the most. Anyway, these are like my other babies. So I'm not doing it in any particular order. I thought about doing it in the order that I use them the most, but being the type A person that I am, I'm going to go tallest to shortest. So this is a very heavy lens. This is the 70 to 200, 2.8 G, and these are all the G line Nikon lenses. This is a lens that I would use back when I used to shoot weddings, so I could be like in the very back of a ceremony. You can zoom all the way in. So the numbers, when you're thinking here, as I go over these other lenses, the higher the number, the more zoom that you have. I want to make sure I said that right. So a 70 to 200, so I can zoom all the way in. I don't use this enough. I don't really bring it to sessions with me because, one, it's really heavy, really intense looking. Like if I put this on my camera, I mean, that's pretty intense. That would intimidate little children, I think, at a session. I do love the images that come out of this thing, but I just don't like being so far away from my subjects. I mean, with this, I couldn't shoot in this room. I would have to be really far away. So if I go on vacation or something, I'll bring it along. But I occasionally will whip it out, but I don't bring that to my sessions. So this is the 24 to 70, 2.8. And when I'm saying the decimal point numbers, this is how the lower the number is, the more bokeh you're going to have in an image, which is that blurry background that you see in those fancy professional portraits. So I shoot at around 2.8, maybe a little higher if there's like more than 4 people in a shot, just to make sure everybody's crisp and the image is sharp. This has really been a go-to lens for me. I am more of a prime shooter. Prime meaning it's a fixed focal point, so you actually have to move your feet to zoom in or zoom out on an image. So the 24 to 70, you can actually just twist and zoom in and out that way without actually moving my feet. It goes down to 24, which is a really wide angle lens. It's just really versatile. I can bring this lens to any session, to any situation that I'm going to be shooting, and know that I'll be able to, I've never had a problem not being able to get the shot from a distance wise, if that makes sense. So if I'm in a really tight room, if I've been like in a hospital room shooting a birth, I've had this camera with me, or lens with me. Today I had the Fresh 48 session in a hospital room, so I brought this with me. So if I know I'm going to be shooting a lot of people or need a wide lens, I'm going to bring this with me. So this has always been my go-to lens. It's a little bit heavy. It's not as long as the 70 to 200, so not that bad, but I just love the versatility of this lens. So it's always been a go-to for me, so it's always in my bag. This is the 105 millimeter 2.8. This is my macro lens, so any newborn shoot, I'm going to be bringing this lens with me. This is going to be the images that you see where it's really zoomed in on a subject, or like the images you see maybe on my Facebook or Instagram of like the cute little squishy baby toes or lips or nose or ears or fingers, or any close-up detail shots is with this lens. They're called macro lenses, so it makes a macro size of the image. So, but you can do it with anything, or you can kind of get creative and go out and shoot a butterfly up close and it looks humongous on the screen. So you can have a lot of fun with this lens. I've used it several times at portrait sessions because I really like the quality and the image that it produces, but mainly for newborn sessions is what I use this lens for. Okay, next up is the 85 millimeter 1.4 G. This is, out of the whole suite of lenses, probably my favorite lens. It's an 85, so as I mentioned, so that's a higher number than like the 24 to 70. So this does zoom in a good bit, so if I'm shooting like a family of 4 or 5, it can be kind of tight. I'll have to back up a lot to be able to fit them all in the frame. But the quality of the image that comes out of this thing is incredible. And it goes down to a 1.4. So as I mentioned, that creamy bokeh, I mean, it's just how it produces like a buttery image. It's just amazing. It's a little bit heavy. So compared to the 24 to 70, it's a little bit shorter. But this is a prime lens. So I don't have to, I have to move my feet. I don't know if I mentioned that. I have to actually move my feet to zoom in and out on an image. So I bring this to a lot of maternity shoots, not really to newborn sessions, just because I have the 24 to 70. Another popular lens is the 35 millimeter, which is great for if you're in a tight space in a room that you need that wide angle lens. I haven't gotten it. It's probably sat in my Amazon cart or like the save for later cart for like 3 years because I just can't justify spending the money on that lens when I have the 24 to 70. So I have that versatility range already, and to just spend that kind of, I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars on a lens that I essentially already have that focal point range, so I just haven't pulled the plug on it. But it does kill me that I don't have it part of my gear family. So anyway, last but not least is the 50 millimeter 1.4 G. This was my first lens that I purchased. If you are a budding photographer or if you're a mom with a DSLR camera, they call this the Nifty 50. This is a go-to lens that everyone should have in their camera bag. It's pretty affordable, and you get great images, and it's a great starter lens for learning how to shoot in manual or just kind of playing around. And it's 50 millimeter, so you get a pretty decent, it's not like, I wouldn't consider this a wide angle lens, but you can get a decent amount in the frame with a 50 millimeter, and it's a lot of fun to play with as far as the bokeh that I talked about earlier. So I bring this along pretty much to every shoot too. So you can kind of see all of them kind of have a purpose for on which specific session that I'll bring. So I clean them all before each session so they're ready to go, and pop them on my camera when I get there. And my memory cards are cleared. I don't delete them, the images on the memory card on my camera. I will actually go in and reformat the memory cards at every session. So that just kind of helps save the life of the overall length of life on my memory cards. I'm going to switch gears a bit and chat about some of my film gear really quickly. As I mentioned earlier this year, I invested in an online course, Foundations in Film by Nancy Ray, which has been a total game changer and really a confidence builder in kind of becoming a hybrid shooter, which, if you hear that term, means that you're shooting both digital and film. So I'm trying to incorporate film more into my sessions, kind of slowly doing that, and getting more confident and more used to doing that. If you're wondering why you're shooting film, I've always been fascinated with film, just the overall quality of the image, the kind of the realistic, rich colors. I would love to do a side-by-side blog post or something on that, to see if you could tell the difference, because you really can't. I mean, to the untrained eye, you probably couldn't tell the difference, but it just makes for a very timeless and classic look, a lot of depth to the image, and just the overall process on how the film is developed and all of that really fascinates me. And in the photography industry today, in particular, film truly kind of sets yourself apart as a photographer, and makes you more of a strategic differentiator in the industry. You're going to kind of stand out from the digital world, and your business will kind of have a more different look and feel. So that's kind of the direction I was going when I kind of started learning more about film. It really establishes credibility with magazines and blogs as far as getting featured down the road. Is definitely on the wish list for me. But it really makes me more of a better photographer, because it kind of forces me to be intentional with every shot. I'll talk about in a second the film, but I only get 16 images per roll of film. With a memory card in my camera, I get 800 images when I'm shooting in RAW. So it forces me to not be so trigger happy, and can kind of learn to take your time, and can kind of be very freeing as an artist, so you're not so trigger happy. So it kind of forces you to see the moment, compose it, set the lighting and everything, and take the shots, because you only have those 16 images to be able to do it. So I will chat about, let me flip my gear here. All right, so I invested earlier this year when I purchased the course, the Contact 645 kit, and it came with the 80mm 2.8 lens, which shoots a lot like the 50mm that I talked about. This is a medium format film camera. They have a lot of different variations of medium format film cameras. The Contact 645, from taking the course and doing some research, is a lot of what the best of the best use, so that's what I wanted. So I have brought this out to a few different shoots, and so it's been a really fun adventure so far. I shoot with the Portra 400 120 film, and the numbers really just mean the film speed, the ISO film speed. So I primarily shoot outdoors with natural lighting. So this is the film that I use. I buy them in packs. I believe there's 5 in here. I get them off bnhphoto.com, and they come in. You're supposed to keep them in like a dry and clean area, obviously, so the film doesn't go bad. But these are the rolls of film. These are unused, so I keep them in here. And then I have my light meter. So I don't meter in camera like I would do on a digital camera. I actually have this fancy little light meter that I'll throw over my neck. And this is the Sekonic L358 light meter. So I will go in and meter for my subject and then put the settings into my camera and take the shot. And as I mentioned, there's only 16 images per roll, so can be a little daunting to make sure you're not wasting any film. But that's been a really fun process so far. Again, starting to kind of incorporate that more into my portrait sessions to become more of a hybrid shooter. So it's been a really fun adventure so far. But that, in a nutshell, is all my gear. Went over some camera bags. If you're just joining us, we went over camera bags, the camera bodies that I use, as well as kind of the suite of lenses that I take along with me, depending on what shoot I'm going to. So hopefully this was fun and educational and entertaining for you, and kind of a peek on the other side of the lens as far as what a photographer preps for a shoot. So a lot goes into, you guys are stressed about like outfits and everything. I mean, I get stressed about what I'm going to wear to y'all's session too. But, you know, we have a lot going on our side of things too, to make sure that we can give you guys the best experience. So, hope that was entertaining for you guys. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions on a future topic, would love for you to comment below or shoot me an email. I have a handful of fun topics coming in the coming weeks, but if you've missed previous episodes, you can hop on, well, you're already on my Facebook page, you can click on the video section and all my previous episodes are on there. But as I mentioned, this is a weekly Wednesday Facebook Live series, so mark your calendar for next week, and I will see you next Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll chat with you later. Bye.